All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the presentation. Good group here, so obviously there's a lot of interest in this. Just a quick housekeeping note, NADA is recording this. It'll be up on the YouTube channel, so you don't necessarily have to take notes if you don't want to, because we'll be going through a lot of this. There is a handout in the back that we've got. If you need more, we'll get them at the front desk as well. Before I get started, though, I do have to make a quick phone call. Hold on just a second.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Is this Miss Lisa Johnson?
Yes, it is. Who is this?
Miss Johnson, my name is Paul Ayler. I'm the Chief Deputy of Maricopa County District Attorney's Office.
Yeah?
Miss Johnson, the reason for my call this afternoon is I'm processing through a list of people that have failed to show up for jury duty, and unfortunately, your name is on that list.
What? Oh my goodness, I've never received any jury notices.
I hate to say this, ma'am, but unfortunately, failure to appear has resulted in a warrant being issued for your arrest.
Oh my goodness, I've never received any notices. I don't know anything about this.
Well, I understand. That's why we like to call folks. Could you verify your full name for me?
It's Lisa Ann Johnson.
And what is your date of birth?
6/28/52.
And your current address?
2566 North 140th Lane in Phoenix.
Did you ever live at 1926 West Deer Valley in Phoenix?
No, I have no idea where that is.
Oh, this is why we like to call people to make sure we have the correct person. The warrant is actually issued for a different Lisa Ann Johnson, but she used your phone number. I do apologize for the mistake.
Oh, thank goodness. You scared the life out of me.
I'm so sorry about that. Again, this is why we like to call and verify these things. I make a notation here on our records. Please be assured there's no arrest warrant issued.
Oh, thank you so much.
Not a problem. You have a good day, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You too. Bye-bye.
That is how quick you can have your identity stolen. 90 seconds. Now, for the record, that was not Lisa Johnson. That was actually Carrie Dixon, our Director of Sales and Marketing, helping me out on that. But it's really to show you that. The purpose of this lecture is to educate you on how to protect yourself from being a victim. I know most of you are saying, I would have never fallen for that. And you're right, most of you wouldn't. But what if you're caught off guard? What if you're not sleeping well? What if you're stressed out about a visit to a doctor or a family issue or something like that? That's how fast. It only takes 90 seconds. So our agenda for today, we're going to cover a lot of different things. We're going to talk about how big this problem is. We're going to talk about common scam and fraud terminology. I'll talk about targeting or scams that currently target seniors. Why do scams work? Tips on how to protect yourself, what to do if you are scammed, and finally, resources to learn more. The resources to learn more is that handout that I have and have given out. So let's start off with how big the problem is. Maybe it's not that big of a problem. You know, if people say, well, I'd never fall for that, maybe it's all hype from the media just designed to drive fear. Unfortunately, that's not the case. In 2022 or 2023, the Federal Trade Commission put out a report that said reported fraud loss, $8.8 billion in fraud loss. That's reported. That same year, the FBI, or actually that's a 30% increase over 2021. The FBI put out a report after this one came out and said they actually think the problem is 5 to 10 times larger than that because of non-reported fraud loss. It is a huge, huge problem. AARP put out a study that said a large percentage of victims actually know they're scammers. Their relatives, their trusted advisors, their neighbors. So there is a large percentage of that you will know who scammed you. Bottom line is, it can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter, male, female, young, old, rich, poor, educated, uneducated. It does not matter your social or economic status. It can happen to anyone, and it does. So let's look at some common terminologies. And you're going to laugh at some of these, but it just helps you as you hear more about it in the news, you're reading about it. The first one is called catfishing. This is not sitting by a lake with a pond or a rod and reel on a Sunday afternoon. Catfishing is actually creating a fake online profile. And I know somebody's going to ask me, well, why do they call it catfishing? I'm an engineer, or was an engineer for many years, love to research stuff. I want to know why. Why did it get this term? I kid you not, I spent 45 minutes, and after that, I still had no clue of how it became known as catfishing. There is no logical explanation. There's some weird theories out there, but none of them made any sense. But that's what it's called. It's creating a fake online profile. Clickbait. This is not what you use to catfish. Clickbait is a story or link that can share information or download malware. So as I go through some of these terms, you'll start seeing they kind of all weave together in a way. So this is really just where you've clicked on something in a story or an advertisement and you ended up at a very bad place because now it's either shared the information off your computer or it downloaded what's called malware to your computer. Ghosting. This has actually two meanings. The first one was using the identity of a deceased person. That was how it was originally came about. Now the term means suddenly abandoning communication. So it's like, yeah, I was emailing back and forth with this person and all of a sudden, nothing. They never respond. They don't respond to text. That's what they call ghosting you. So if you've been ghosted. Keystroke logger. Again, not a guy in the Northwest harvesting pine trees. Keystroke logger is a software that tracks strokes on your keyboard. And you're going, why is that a problem? Well, using clickbait, they downloaded malware, which was a keystroke logger. Now when you go out and go, oh, www.bankofamerica.com, here's my login, here's my password. If they access that back, they figure out your login and password. Doesn't matter how crazy your password is, if there's a keystroke logger that got downloaded to it and they get access, they've got all your information. That's why they built this, was to really track that. Malvertising, online advertising that can disrupt or remote access a computer. Again, it's designed to get malware on your computers. Farming, routing a victim to a convincing lookalike website. It looked like Bank of America. But I clicked on it and looks like Bank of America. It's, always use stuff from that or type it out. Don't ever click on a link. Phishing. Yeah, I told you, they all kind of match up on some of these. Phishing is using fake but authentic looking emails. That's what they mean by the term phishing. There's several different types of phishing. There's smishing, which is when you use fake text messages. There is spear phishing. That's a fake personalized email from someone you know. Kendra got caught up in this. Somehow her account got hacked. All her contacts were receiving emails that looked like they were from Kendra, asking for, hey, I'm out of the office. Could you go buy gift cards? I know one went to the accounting group. I need this bill paid to this company right now. I don't want you doing anything else. And they're like, wow, that didn't sound like Kendra. So they knew something was fishy. But that's what it's called, is spear phishing. And then finally, vishing. That's fake recorded or live voice calls. So I actually vished earlier. Never vished before. Ransomware. This really affects corporations and municipalities. It's software that can be loaded onto a server and it will disrupt or encrypt all of the information. And what they do is they require a fee to fix it, usually cryptocurrency. A lot of municipalities got hit with this years ago. Atlanta, I think, ended up paying about $15 million to get the encryption back because there was no way. They had lost everything. So once that started hitting, then cities became a little more protective, but it wiped out, judicial branches, it wiped out everything, and it just encrypted everything on their city. Dallas got hit. I don't know if Phoenix ever got hit or not. Robocalls, we've all heard of that one. It's automatic calls offering exclusive deals. Spyware. This is malware that tracks your actions and collects information. Again, spyware, a keystroke logger is considered spyware. So as you see, they kind of start blending together a little bit. All right, let's talk about the top 10 scams targeting seniors. Now, I'm just going to just do 10. You got to understand, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of scams out there. And every one of them has hundreds, if not thousands, of variants. So I can't give you the script for each one of them. But if you think about it, they're all going to fall into kind of one of these top 10 categories. First one is government impersonation scams. Okay, little soapbox here. Unless you have ongoing business within the government agency or have specifically requested a callback, they are not going to call you out of the blue. Think about it. Our U.S. government works at the speed of a sloth on a tranquilizer. Nobody is sitting in their office going, hey, I'm going to call Bill George today, just, and tell him there's something wrong. No, they're not going to do that. So unless you have ongoing business, you're not going to do that. But the scams are all the same. They try to get personal information or get you to pay for something up front. Why people fall for that when somebody says, well, I need gift cards. Why does the federal government need gift cards? You got to think of it a little bit. Now, there's 3 types of government impersonation scams. Our old friends at the Social Security Administration, again, there's multiple variances, phone calls, emails, texts, but all of them deal with replacing your Social Security card, increasing your benefits for whatever reason. We can increase your benefits. Benefit suspension or overpayment of benefits. Again, unless you've got ongoing business with them, they're not calling you out of the blue. Medicare health insurance, same thing. They're not going to call you out of the blue. They're never going to, try to sell you unnecessary services or suspend your benefits. And finally, the old friends at the IRS. The scammer claims that, victim owes back taxes or there's a problem with their tax return. The IRS especially, they put this out so many times. The only way the first contact you will ever have is a certified letter. And that's what most of these do. They're not going to call you out of the blue. So that's government impersonation scams. Grandparent scam. This one has really caught on a lot. Okay? Caller claims to be a relative in some sort of distress. Got arrested, got a car wreck, I'm stranded. They need money right away, and they don't want you to tell anybody. Think about it. For those of you that were parents, if your kid got in trouble, you'd want to know. Whatever it was, you want to know. Don't try to be the good grandparent and hide it from them. The best thing to do on that, hang up, call the grandkid on the number that you have. Don't ask them because they're going to give you a fake number. But call the number that you have for that and find out. Bad part about this, they're now getting more sophisticated. Because a lot of people would go, Grandma, Grandpa, do you know who this is? Well, it sounds like Billy. Yeah, it's Billy. You just gave them the information. Now, they mine it off of social media sites, Instagram, Facebook. They mine the videos, and they use artificial intelligence to mimic the voice. So it sounds exactly like your grandkid. You have to be careful on that. Again, if they're pushing you, they need money right away, and they don't want anybody to find out, probably a scam. Computer tech support scam. Computer is compromised. You got to pay money to fix the device. Really the goal is to either gain remote access or get a fee to fix it. Microsoft is I wouldn't say as bad as the federal government. They're just a sloth, not a sloth on tranquilizers. But they're not going to call you. They can't even fix Microsoft Windows. Come on. They're not calling you out of the blue. These are all scams. And it'll pop up on your machine going, hey, your computer's compromised. Call this number. Don't do it. Investment scams. These are cryptocurrencies, a lot of different investment scams. All of them give you high returns, low risk. If it's too good to be true, it is. I mean, you just got to be smart about it. It's not going to work. You know, there's no get-rich-quick scheme. Sweepstake lottery scams. It's a call, email, or letter letting you know the victim has won a prize, but got to pay money or give personal information in order to claim it. You know, it's again, once they start pushing that and they're wanting information quick and they're wanting money quick, you got to back off. Now, in doing the research for this, I thought it was kind of funny because, you know, there's some good sweepstakes companies out there. I mean, Publishers Clearinghouse, everybody loves that. Last June, 2023, Federal Trade Commission won a lawsuit, $18.5 million against Publishers Clearinghouse for deceptive trade practices. You could not get through their system and just put in a sweepstakes entry. They would not let you do it until you bought something. They kept moving you around and the Federal Trade Commission popped them on it. So even them, they will have issues. Prescription drugs or product scams. Again, phone calls, emails, texts, all of them offer, you know, bogus counterfeit prescription drugs. You know, they want you to, it's weight loss, it's anti-aging drugs, it's medical supplements. All of these things are designed to capture you, or they are, you know, clickbaits where you click on it and it takes you to some place you don't want to go. Jury duty scam is actually what I did at the start of this. Most of you picked up on that. Warrant for failure to appear. They either want you to pay a fine or disclose personal information. So very easily, in 90 seconds, I got somebody to disclose their personal information. It happens. Again, they're not going to call you. Romance scams. This is a confidence trick that uses fake profiles to gain the affection and trust. Then they use that goodwill to either scam you or commit fraud against you. These can play out over months, if not years. You may have one person running this scam and they have 200 to 400 people on the line. And they're different profiles. That's the catfishing, goes back to that. You think you're talking to so-and-so and you're not. They're just leading you along, and then it's like, well, I'm having some trouble, my car broke down, and you know, over a period of time, you've established this trust with them almost, even though you've never met them. That's what these romance scams do. Charity disaster scams. So this one kind of hits home to me just because of the charity part of it. They want you to donate money, and it's usually a bogus charity or some natural disaster that happened. I have a personal experience in this because I had a buddy of mine call me a while back and said, hey, we're collecting money for the Maui wildfire victims. You want to donate? And my first question to him was, do you know somebody in Maui? He's like, oh, no. But a friend of mine, his buddy, he started this and he's going to send it over to him. Really? To who? You know, because he doesn't know anybody. These are what they do on this. Now, you also get the second part of this where it's like a lot of GoFundMe pages where people claim that, oh, I've got to bury my grandfather, I don't have any money, or I'm going through chemo treatments and I don't have any money, or something. They play on those heartstrings. So you have to be careful about that. Cemetery funeral scams. This one, I thought I had researched a lot of stuff. This one was just, I couldn't believe anybody would actually do this. The part of the cemetery scam is they will show up at a funeral and claim that the recently deceased had outstanding debt and it needs to be paid now. Yeah. I was like, I don't know how anybody could do that. But think about it. It catches them off guard. They're stressed. They're grieving. They know that. And people will go, look, I just want you out of here. I'll pay whatever it is. Just go away. So it does work. Now, on the funeral scams, That is charging for unnecessary services or inflated pricing. Whoop. Hang on. In Arizona, there is no law requiring a casket for burial or cremation. Federal law requires a funeral home or crematory to inform you that you can use alternate containers and provide those containers. Also, federal law requires a funeral home to accept caskets that consumers have purchased from an outside source. You can actually buy a casket on Amazon. I went and looked. Didn't think I'd ever would, but I did want to look it up. The funeral home is required to take that by federal law. They cannot say, oh, no, you got to buy it from us. Nope, that is not, that's a scam. They're just padding their pockets on it. So that's kind of the top 10. So now let's look at why do scams work. If the majority of you sitting here thinking, you know what, those top 10, I would never fallen for that. I'm good. I wouldn't have fallen for it. And if that's the same thing with most of the people in America, why then $8.8 billion in reported fraud and the FBI saying it's 5 to 10 times larger than that? Because it does work. And it's not, again, it's not the young, uneducated, poor people that get scammed. It happens to everybody. So it works because you're dealing with a professional criminal. This isn't a bored teenager sending out a fake phone call or making a prank phone call or a bogus email. These are professional criminals that have honed their techniques with the key point to take you from your money. That's all it is. They don't think of you as a person. They think of you as a dollar sign. Their goal is to make money, and they use these tactics to do it. The first is they share cumulative knowledge. We've all heard this saying, knowledge is power. They talk to other scammers. They find out what works, what doesn't, what new tricks, what new techniques. They're always talking. They're getting that cumulative knowledge. They mine data sites to keep their pipeline filled. People go, how did I get on this list? There are public lists out there, emails, phone numbers. You can buy them. You don't even have to buy them. They go out and they mine social media sites for victims. I mean, they have to keep that pipeline filled, and they do. They know they're going to go through a lot of people, but they want those couple that hit it. They're good storytellers. That little skit that I did at the start of this, they do that hundreds of times a day. They get good at telling the story. They know how to tell the story. They get believable. You know, they'll throw in things, oh, you sound just like my grandma. I miss her. She passed away. They tug at your heartstrings on that. They're focused. They are 5 steps ahead of you. You just answered the phone. They've been on the phone all day long, and they were on the phone all day yesterday, and they've talked to people, and they've run this same script. They are focused on all of this. I always throw out there, how many, just show of hands, how many of you were in sales? Several of you? Okay. One of the jobs of a salesperson, even when I was doing Inspirata Point, you're there, you have to overcome their objections, the prospect's objections. That's what they're doing. They're focused. They know what your objections are. You don't want to give money to them. They have to overcome that, and they get good at it. One of the other reasons that this works is that it's considered a low-risk crime. People go, how is that? Well, money gets laundered so many times. Cryptocurrency, cash, gift cards, they're all hard to trace. And it goes through several points before it ever gets to the top guy for the money. But also, financial scams go unreported. You know, FBI, 5 to 10 times larger because people just don't report it. They're embarrassed about it. You know, they don't want to report it. And then finally, it can be difficult to prosecute. Let's say you were scammed out of $10,000 and you go and you file a police report and you get all this, and the district attorney or prosecutor says, I'd love to help you, but They're in Ukraine. They're in Russia. They're in India. I can't get them back here. It cost me $5 million just to get your 10,000 back. Sorry. We can't find them. So that's why it's considered a low-risk crime, and that's why there's so much of it. Now, why they target seniors? This was kind of interesting when I started going through it. Well, the first one is you're most likely to have a nest egg. I mean, it is. They're not going after, they'll go after millennials, but the big scores are with seniors because you have that nest egg, or they think you do. You have a very easily exploitable characteristic of empathy. You were raised to be polite and to want to help. That is easily exploitable by scammers because, again, they're professionals. They know what to do. They're focused. They know what has happened. Seniors are also most interested in products that offset aging. Again, looking for that magic bullet to stop aging. It's not out there, but that's why they target it. And finally, a lot of seniors are reluctant to report. They're embarrassed. They think they'll lose financial independence if anybody finds out. If their kids found out that I lost $500 to a scammer, oh my God, they'll take my money away. They're reluctant to report, and they know that. Again, professional criminals, they're looking at all of these things. So about now, you're probably saying to yourself, of going, with all of the scams out there, all the variances, I'm dealing with a professional criminal that's focused and intent on trying to take my money. Do I even have a chance? Am I just destined to be a statistic sooner or later? And the answer is no. You have the ability to keep from being a victim. And it's very simple stuff. The first one is be wary of unsolicited phone calls or emails. I know we were all, including me, were raised in an era where if the phone rang, you answered it. I remember my dad yelling down the hall for one of us kids to answer the phone. There was usually an expletive in between the and phone, but we got it. We now have voicemail. We have answering machines. You do not have to answer a call you don't know. Let it go to voicemail before you call it back. But if it goes to voicemail, listen to the voicemail before you call it back. And I'm going to go on a little soapbox here again because I sit right behind the front desk at Royal Oaks in an office. I can tell you within 2 minutes when Royal Oaks has sent out a blast voicemail because that phone goes off the hook and Mary or Gail and Connie all say the same things. It was a voicemail. Did you listen to it? Okay, here's what it said. Listen to the voicemails before you call back. The problem with this is if you call a scammer back or you answer it, you're now a valid number. That's all they need. They may never call you again, but they will sell that number to somebody else to call because that's how they make money. They're just selling stuff all over the place. Same way with emails. If you didn't have business with them, don't answer the emails. There's too much out there. Let it go to junk mail, tag it as junk mail, whatever. I have on my personal email, I probably get 10 to 15 different emails from companies that I have done business with. I get those every day. Some of them, I'll finally just say, look, enough, stop. I don't want any more emails. But most of them, they'll have a special or something, I'll look at it. But other than that, just delete them. Don't click on it. Even when it says, click here to unsubscribe, don't do that because you're now a valid email address that they'll sell. Share personal information cautiously, even if you initiate the contact. Don't give out personal information to somebody that called you. Why would you? I mean, you think about it. If a stranger walked up on the street and going, hey, what's your address? I don't know you. Why different with the phone? And when I say, even if you initiated the contact, be cautious. I found this when I was doing the research. Lady got her identity stolen. Had no clue how it happened. I mean, she was totally baffled. She was so good about everything. She didn't look at email. She, just did everything by the book. and still got her identity stolen. Finally, they figured it out. She'd gotten a call. She didn't recognize the number. She let it go to voicemail, and it was her doctor's office confirming an appointment. She called it back. She's talking to the scheduler. They're confirming the appointment. The scheduler says, oh, I'm looking at my screen, and we're missing your social security number. And she gave it. The reason she didn't have the social security number is because the schedulers don't get to see that. Think about that. And of course, the lady was just like, hey, I'm confirming the appointment. I know you guys. Here it is. There's nothing wrong with somebody saying, you know what? I don't feel comfortable giving that out over the phone. I'll bring that in because you guys should have that already. Same way with like how, your insurance numbers or anything else. Just be cautious, even when you initiate it, because that was what that girl was doing. She was gathering them up, selling them off, and it took a long time for them to find it. It was amazing when they finally did, and that was how she got her identity stolen, was just gave it out. Thought it was the right thing. It's the doctor's office, so got to be really cautious. Slow down. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it really does work. If someone is pressuring you to do something right now, slow down, take a break, verify the story before you send money or give any personal information. There's nothing wrong with going, you know what, not really comfortable with that. Don't want to do that over the phone. You called me. Why would I give you that? So just kind of slow down, take a breath. Again, don't pay for anything up front, and be wary of requests that want gift cards, cryptocurrency, wire transfers, or cash. And they say, oh, well, send it to this, but don't send it here. I've even seen where somebody has sent a package and the address they send it to isn't even part of the scam. The people in the scam are following the FedEx trucks and UPS trucks around. They drop it off, they go up, they take it off the porch, and they're gone. The person at the house never even knew they got a package because they never ordered anything. So again, don't pay up front. And if they ask you some weird way that you have to pay or send money, be cautious of it. Don't give remote access for devices to unsolicited callers. Again, if a stranger walked up on the street and said, hey, can I see your phone? No. Just be careful on that, because that's how you get the viruses, the malware, and everything else put onto the phone or your computer. Keep social media accounts private. Boy, I don't know how many times I've seen this. People are like, hey, started the first of a 22-day cruise. You just told everybody in your social media you were gone for 22 days. Go back to the AARP. A lot of people get scammed and taken by people they know. You got to be careful on it. Make sure that it stays private. My mom used to say, and yours probably did too, if you don't want it on the evening paper, don't do it, because that's how it could end up. Delete and block unsolicited emails, calls, and texts. Do not click on any links in there. If it looks like it's junk, even if it says click here to unsubscribe, don't do it, because you never know what's going to happen. You could get clickbait in there, drop in malware, you've got all sorts of problems. Just delete it and block it. I don't know how many calls I have blocked on my phone that I know are spam calls. They just go to another number and they just use it. But, it just doesn't work much anymore. So the best thing is don't answer it and then just delete it and block it. Again, avoid too good to be true offers. If it's too good to be true, it is. Talk to someone you trust. Family member, friend, who knows? You might realize it's a scam as you start talking through it. If you're telling somebody of going, you know what, I think this is a scam now when I talk through it. The other part of this is, remember the tactic that the scammers used. They share knowledge. That's powerful. If you're telling people the scams that you've been called, or you got this call, somebody may go, oh, and then a week later they get the same call. They're like, oh, I know that's a scam. Again, knowledge is power. Make sure you talk to people. Set up credit monitoring and identity theft protection. but do it through a reputable company, not through somebody who sends you an email going, hey, we'll monitor your credit. It's like, again, you initiate the part of this. Don't just do it. But, it's always good to set up credit monitoring. I did that a while back, and I found out that there was a credit card that I had forgotten about. It was still open. It was just sitting there. So ended up, I was able to clean a lot of that up. Monitor your credit history. Again, it's kind of what I did. I set that up, monitored it, saw that I had that out there. Okay, let's talk about what to do if you are scammed. The first is don't be embarrassed. It happens. It does. I know you're going to be embarrassed. Everybody is. But you need to get over that because you need to start doing things that are going to mitigate any other damages. Are you going to be able to get your money back? I would say there's probably 1 in a million chances that you might get a little bit of it back. It's just too hard to prosecute. But what you want to do is stop it as quick as you can to avoid any more money being lost. Best thing, file a police report and get a copy of it. Okay? Even if they're not going to prosecute it, you still have it on record. You have all this stuff, and it'll make sense as we get through there. Close all affected and new fraudulent accounts. Pretty simple. You got to do that, get that stuff closed so that you can't keep getting billed for it. Initiate a fraud alert on the credit file that's compromised. Make an official report with Federal Trade Commission. Either one of these, identitytheft.gov or reportfraud.ftc.gov. Get it on record. Maybe it will build up and they can go after somebody. Again, your odds of getting money back are probably nil. I mean, I'd just be 100% totally honest. It's almost impossible. You can also call the Better Business Bureau Elder Fraud Hotline. They can possibly help give you some extra steps to do, to make sure you're protected. My wife actually got me doing this on something, make a journal. So I was having an issue with some insurance explanation of benefits. And I was calling and they kept billing, one doctor kept billing me for something and I kept calling them back. My wife's like, make a journal. Write down what happened. Write down dates, who you talked to. I called the bank on this date. I talked to such and such. We closed this account. I did this. This is on this date. I talked to this person. This is actually what happened when I got frauded. All of these things, because I guarantee you, some of these will come back and bite you up to a year later. So you're not going to remember probably what happened next week of what you did and names and issues. So make a journal, write it down. That way, if you have to go back and reference it, especially if the bank calls you a year from now saying, hey, you owe us money. No, I don't. I closed that. Well, we don't have any record of it. Well, that's funny. Hold on. June 18th, last year, talked to Sarah, closed the account, called back, got a confirmation that it was called from Susan. Write the stuff down. It will help you in the long run. Okay, here's the additional resources. There is a lot out there. AARP has many, many articles on this. You can look it up. Federal Trade Commission, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, National Council of Aging, Better Business Bureau, even the Arizona Attorney General's office has a ton of stuff on scams and fraud. So if you have been scammed, look at these sites. It will help you eventually. If you come up with a scam or you think it is, scamspotter.org, I was playing with that the other day. It's great because they put out what the scams are and the variances on them. So you can actually go in and go, was this a scam? Oh, yeah, it was. Okay. Or you get a call and you want to slow down and think about it, scamspotter.org. So with that is the presentation. Kind of went through it pretty quick. I'm sorry about that. I thought it would take longer, but I can do some questions. I mean, I'm not sure if I can answer a lot, but if you've got any questions at all, just let me know. Yes, ma'am.
You say not to click on to unsubscribe. How do you get out of some of these unwanted other than just deleting them?
Just delete them.
Just delete them?
Yeah, the question was for those of you who didn't hear is how do you get out of unsubscribing. If I said don't click on unsubscribed, the best way is just delete those and not even worry about it. If it's companies that you've had business with, that's okay because it came from them. So I get one. I'm trying to think of who I get. Nakona boots. So I play a lot of softball. I have a Nakona softball glove that I paid for 20 years ago. I've had it restrung by them, refaced. They send me an email about once every 2 days. I'm okay with that. But like Vistaprint, all of a sudden I did something with Vistaprint and now I'm getting like 2 a day. And it's finally like, nope, unsubscribe. I'm done. I'll go back. I know where Vistaprint is. I'm not doing that much. So, yes, ma'am. Well, you have that is built into the iPhone, so that helps. If you click on that email, that's the one you don't, when it's in the body of the email, to unsubscribe for. She was asking how to unsubscribe, and it's done through iPhone. So yes, you can do that through iPhone. Again, in some cases, it's just faster, just delete. I mean, eventually they'll stop sending you stuff because you're not responding. So they look at it and it's like, I know. It's kind of like the spam calls. I mean, being on a do not call list anymore, it's not worth it. And the reason is because shortly after the do not call list went into place by Congress, the telemarketing lobby started lobbying all the politicians. And over several years, they massaged it, they snuck little things in, and it weakened it and weakened it and weakened it. So now it's like, oh yeah, there's a do not call list. No, there's no teeth in it anymore. It used to have a lot of teeth, but not anymore. So, yes. Mm-hmm. Right, right. They wouldn't leave you a voicemail? She was asking about phone calls that have multiple numbers, but I'm not sure on that one why they wouldn't leave a voicemail if they're calling you for something. Yeah. Right. And she was asking about unsolicited calls and specifically timeshare. Again, if you're getting that and you want to sell your timeshare, go out and do the research. There's a lot of companies out there. You make that initial contact with the company. I get a lot of calls where I have a Dallas phone number because I lived in Dallas forever. And people call me going, hey, do you own the property at such and such? Nope. It's like, why did I do that? I shouldn't even answer the call. I know it's a spam call. There were a couple times when I played with them. I'm like, yeah, I do own that. And they're like, well, we'd like to make you an offer on it. I'm like, yeah, meet me out there. I'll be out there in 20 minutes if you want to meet me out there. Oh, we don't do that. It's like, well, we don't do that. I'm like, well, I don't know. You called me out of the blue. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm interested. But, you can tell pretty quick that it's a scam. But I don't recommend playing with people because, again, those are professional criminals that you're dealing with. So it's like, you got to pick and choose when you can play with them. But so, yes. Yeah. 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 So if you didn't hear the comment, it was more of going out to a website that you mistype. And it is 100% true. Everything around www Bank of America, either Bank of America had to own that or a scammer took it, because if you mistype something, you might end up on that page and it may look similar. Now, printing out what the front homepage looks like, almost all of them will change their homepages every couple months, if not, because they want to keep it fresh. But I guess the biggest thing is if you're typing a website, before you hit enter, just double check. I know it's an extra step, but just double check, make sure you typed it correctly, because you could end up in a spam site. So, yeah, Carol.
Well, I did get caught up in a romantic way where I bought them. They said, we don't do anything about those. We just sell them. You have to write back to the company who issued here.
Yeah.
It's still sitting on my desk to do something about, and I'll probably just do this into the.
In some cases, it might be better. She was talking about the scammers wanted gift cards. Again, gift cards are very easy to money launder. It's hard to trace. I'm not sure how you got fraudulent cards if you bought them from a reputable. Yeah, I mean it's possible. I've never had that, and I haven't seen it, but it's very possible that you got, those. I've just never seen that one. So, yes.
So I'm proud of you to say that I was scammed, because they actually were on the phone with me. They made me stay on the phone.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was talking about being scammed and actually having the scammers on the phone because they know what to tell. They know what to tell you so that you can tell the bank, so the bank doesn't pick up on that you're
That's exactly
withdrawing
what
stuff.
I tried to do, but I went to the manager. He got on the phone and he said, "Could you tell me what kind of car Ms. Ware's going to buy?" And he said, "We've never done
Don't
that."
tell UPS what you're doing. They'll ask you if there's anything in there. I mean, it's a lot of stuff, and it starts again though. You get caught off guard.
You really are getting cut off.
And it's like I'm thinking about something else, and it's like I just want to get this. Oh my God, I got to take care of this. I know most people would look at the jury scams and go, "How did you fall for that?" Well, if you just got caught off guard, all of a sudden somebody says arrest warrant, and you begin to panic. I mean, you're a law-abiding citizen. You're a good person. You don't think of that, but they know that, and they exploit that. It's that empathy and raised to be polite and want to help, and it's a bad trait, but it is a good trait as well. I'm not saying that. So, anything else? Well, thank you so much for coming. Again, I thought it was going to take longer, but I appreciate it. Hopefully, you guys can stay safe and not get scammed. But if you do, just talk to people.